Hey guys, what is up? It is your boy T for 365 Horror, and this is a horror movie discovery channel. I am just here to put as many horror movies on your watch list as possible. And before you adjust your set, I know I am looking tanned as ever, but that means we have movies to catch up on. So I'm going to run over 10 movies that you guys can watch and stream today. So let's get into it right now. Now, we are going to get into the movies, but before we do, I've got to remind you guys to please like and subscribe if you like this content. Also, these videos are best watched with a movie tracker. I like to use Letterboxd. It's just the easiest way to keep track of the movies that you've seen and want to see. And with that, let's get right into some new movies. The first movie we're going to look at is a horror mystery thriller named Thanksgiving, and it's available on VOD Digital. A mysterious Thanksgiving-inspired killer terrorizes Plymouth, Massachusetts, the birthplace of the infamous holiday. It is directed by Eli Roth. After watching the trailer for Thanksgiving, I am most excited for this one. After watching the original Grindhouse trailer and then this one, Thanksgiving looks like it's turning out to be a brutal slasher, especially from the imagery we see in the trailer. I love how the killer is using all of these implements that you'd use to cook up a Thanksgiving meal, and I'm sure we're going to get a great variety of kills with a good variety of weapons. That mixed with the group of friends setting makes this one a top priority on my watch list. Next, we're going to take a look at a horror mystery thriller named The Ghost Station, and it's available on VOD Digital. A public service worker at Oscu Station witnesses a shocking incident and recruits his friend to help uncover the truth behind the station's mysterious happenings. It is directed by Yang Ki Jeong. Okay, after watching the trailer for The Ghost Station, this looks like a pretty creepy foreign film. The trailer had what looked to be some good jump scares coupled with some really creepy moments. Now, it has a couple of used tropes, but it looks like they may be well done, and it also looks like we could get some good tension through some pretty close calls in this one. Plus, I like the setting. A subway can always be a creepy place. This might be a good creepy ghost story for my watch list.
안녕하세요. 데일리 모드 김나영 기자입니다.
떨어지지가 않아.
뭐가요? 기관사가 죽었다고?
이번이 22번째네. 옥수역이 개통하고 지난 30년간 옥수역에서 사고를 죽은 사람.
Next, we're going to look at a horror mystery thriller called The Portrait, and it's available on VOD Digital. After her husband is devastated by a tragic accident, a devoted wife obsesses over a mysterious portrait that resembles him as he was. But when it starts to terrorize her, she must decide if it's possessed or if she's losing her mind. It's directed by Simon Ross. After watching the trailer for The Portrait, this looks like a good one if you're into kind of the horror thriller vibe. It looks like it's well acted and full of tension. It fills the mystery box because, of course, we're going to be wondering who's in the painting originally, who drew it, why it's identical to one of the main characters, so it seems like a good premise in that respect. I also like the possession psychotic break elements mixed with some supernatural overtones. We could get some decent creeps in this one. I don't think that this is the type of horror that will necessarily keep me up at night, because I definitely get more horror thriller vibes, so it'll be good if you want a more story-based narrative. I'm going to be putting this one on my watch list.
1937. Kelvin DeVoe. What the?
The self-portrait, you found it.
Next, we're going to be looking at a straight horror called Santa Isn't Real, and it's available on VOD Digital. After suffering a brutal attack on Christmas Eve, a young woman, Nikki, struggles to convince her friends that the assailant was old Kris Kringle. When Santa returns to terrorize the group, Nikki and her friends must fight to stay alive. It is directed by Zach Locke. So after watching the trailer for Santa Isn't Real, this kind of looks like a bit of a cheesy slasher movie. Now, depending on your taste and mood, that could be a good or a bad thing. The acting and dialogue did seem a bit wooden, and I didn't see anything impressive as far as gore in the trailer. Now, what saves this movie is I do like to find good holiday horrors. Since they are limited, I do tend to check them out, hoping to find me a gem in the rough. Due to that, this one will be on my watch list.
Merry Christmas, Nick.
I was actually gonna head up to MJ's cabin tomorrow. After everything that happened last year, it might be good to get out of town.
Why don't we all go to the cabin together? We should get in the house. The snow's about to dump.
Well, are we gonna be okay?
We have enough food and booze for a lifetime.
Whoa. You know, you can tell us what happened that night.
You probably won't believe me.
Oh, try me.
Somebody tried to kill me. It was Santa.
Santa Claus. Guys, Santa isn't real.
Next, we're going to look at a drama horror mystery called Raging Grace, and it's available on VOD Digital. An undocumented Filipina immigrant lands a job as a care worker for a terminal old man, securing a better life for her and her daughter. But a dark discovery threatens to destroy everything she strived for and holds dear. It is directed by Paris Zarcilla. Okay, after watching the trailer for Raging Grace, it looks okay, but you can definitely tell that the drama comes first. I'm not minding these immigrant nanny stories, but this one kind of just looks middle of the road to me. It had some decent imagery with what looked like a bunch of insects coming out of like orifices, but nothing too unnerving. This doesn't look like it's necessarily a bad movie, just something I've seen before, so it's gonna make the watch list, but just barely.
Soon find a way to be a family again. Go back to the order we had, where they knew their place.
Next, we are going to look at another straight horror called The Sacrifice Game, and it's available on Shudder.
Where are you headed?
It's bad enough that boarding school students Samantha and Clara can't go home for the holidays, but things take a deadly turn when a murderous gang arrives on their doorstep, just in time for Christmas. It is directed by Jen Wexler. Okay, after watching the trailer for Sacrifice Game, this one actually doesn't look too bad. We have another Christmas horror slasher, and this one looks for sure like it has some good brutality in it. I wasn't completely sold on the acting, but as the trailer went on, I felt it took a drastic turn for the better. I like the premise and have a feeling that this might be a decent revenge horror with some good brutal kills in it. Being as it's Christmas, this one will get higher on my priority list than it deserves, as I love to watch some Christmas horrors during the holidays.
Christmas killers strike again.
They pick a house with a nice couple in it, and then they slash them up.
It's freaky enough around here as it is. You're not supposed to be down here.
What are these?
The books they don't want us to read.
Hello, ma'am. Do you mind if we come in?
Next, we're going to be looking at a horror mystery thriller called The Cello, and it's available on VOD Digital. An aspiring cellist learns that the cost of his cello is a lot more insidious than he thought. It is directed by Darren Lynn Bousman. After watching the trailer for The Cellist, this one actually looks pretty good. It's from the director of the first couple Saws, and from the one car wreck scene we do see, it does look like they're going to stay true to form with good creepy imagery. I don't mind the premise. I mean, a cello that curses its listeners. It'll be interesting to see how and why he uses the cello's dark powers in this one. Put this one on the watch list.
Finish the requiem. You need to keep playing. Every time you stop playing, I will take another of them from you.
Next, we're going to look at another straight horror called Wintertide, and it's available on VOD Digital. Beth, a volunteer watch person of an isolated northern city, battles a plague of depression that transforms the few remaining residents into empty, zombie-like automatons. It is directed by John Barnard. After watching the trailer for Wintertide, this looks like it could be an interesting movie. I like the depression zombie theme, a depression that kind of turns everyone into zombies, and I feel like it could have a bit of a social message attached. There could be some creepy movement and jump scares in this one, and some of the parts where you clearly see almost a doppelganger of herself doing things that can be weird and messed up, but otherwise I don't see anything overly compelling in this one. This one will just get a normal spot on my watch list.
Something's happening that I don't understand. I keep having these dreams. These dreams are so vivid, but they're not real. And yet, they're connected to something real. Something in me. Do you think it's possible for the things we do in our dreams to change our lives while we're awake?
Those people, things, they're getting worse. And I wonder if it's meds.
Next, we're going to take a look at a comedy horror called Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls. And it's available on Screambox and VOD Digital.
Onyx the Fortuitous and the Talisman of Souls.
Fledgling occultist Onyx and a group of worshippers attend a once-in-a-lifetime ritual at their idol Bartok the Great's mansion. It is directed by Andrew Bowser. Okay, after watching the trailer for Onyx the Fortuitous, this looks like a zany kind of comedy horror, and I'm not always an immediate fan of those. On the bright side, the production value in this one looks high, and I did find some smirk-worthy humor in the trailer. I could see this one being raunchy, and that could save it. I definitely have to be in the mood for comedy for this one, as I didn't see anything that led me to believe there will be any creeps and scares in this movie. All in all, it looks like a comedy horror that's just going to have a regular spot on my watch list.
Marcus Trilberry can't catch a break.
Order up, number 46.
At his work, he gets no respect.
What, Marcus? I was just wondering if you got my new name tag in yet? Because this says Marquay Dickberry.
Lastly, we are going to look at another straight horror called Do Not Disturb, and it's available on VOD Digital. Love is all-consuming in this narcotic nightmare crafted by writer-director John Ainsley. Do Not Disturb is a psychedelic exploration of love, lust, and carnal desire. It is directed by John Ainsley. After watching the trailer for Do Not Disturb, it does look like a pretty good drug binge cannibal type of movie. It looks bloody, and plus with the cannibal angle, it does have the potential to be very weird and disturbing. I like the premise. Two people on a drug binge push their cannibal desire further and further to dark ends. The fact that it all seems to play out in a hotel room, I'm sure we're going to have some situations of really tense and close calls. Another one where I don't see creeps and scares, but there could be something here just due to the subject material. I'm going to be adding this one to my watch list.
I'm Chloe. This is Jack.
So this is your honeymoon then?
Sort of.
We're on vacation.
Thought we could try again?
Cheers.
Guys. Eye contact. Oh.
You two like to party? It's peyote. It's supposed to be really, really intense. The craziest dreams.
Don't you feel weird about what we did? I took a full bite out of you.
Well, guys, that's going to do it for another one of the new release videos. I hope you enjoyed it and found some great movies for your watch list. If I had to pick two movies that I would spotlight on this one, I would have to go with the first one being Thanksgiving this week. It just looks like a brutal slasher, and it's gotten so much praise up to this point, it's just something I'll have to see. And then it's between The Cello and Do Not Disturb. I don't mind the premise of both films, and I think they could just both have the potential to devolve into something really weird. Plus, the cello does look like it has some decent creeps and scares. So again, that's going to do it for another episode of newer horror movie releases. Again, I hope you found some good movies, and if you do like this content, please like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.